How we doing, traders, and welcome to the SPACs attack. Let's get it started, baby. All right, traders, welcome to the SPACs attack, baby. I hope you guys enjoyed your holiday. I know I did, but like many of you, I'm sure you were looking at all the SPACs out there right now. I know I was just knocking off Watchlist and doing some research over the weekend. So how you doing today, Chris? How was your holidays?
Oh, holidays was great. Happy to, be back though and hitting on some of these SPACs. We had tons of new SPACs file last week, so we're gonna hit hard on some of those, and then SPACs look like they're taking off again today.
Yeah, definitely. Like always, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe down below. We're here with the mastermind, Chris Katje. Let's go ahead and let's get into some headlines, see what we got out there. I hope you guys like the new intro today. Definitely smash that like. Let's get it started today. All right, Chris, what are you seeing out there in headlines?
Yeah, so let's try to get caught up on some headlines from last week. So one of the big movers last week was STIC. So this is Northern Star, the company that's bringing BarkBox parent company Bark public. So that was the big mover on Thursday, Christmas Eve, with the limited market hours. Shares were up 19%, hitting all-time highs. This company was also featured on CNBC on Wednesday. Shares are selling off today. Again, this is a huge player in the dog market. We've seen the pet industry grow, throughout the years, but especially with the online shopping during the pandemic. This is one that I like long term going forward. So with that dip today, that may be a good buying opportunity going forward. Next up, we have BTWN. So this is Bridgetown. This has been one of the hottest SPACs, up 10% today. This one is still linked to that rumor that it is merging with Tokopedia, which is an Indonesian e-commerce player. Shares are now trading, over $17 with no announced deal. So we do have to be careful there with that huge premium now being paid. I do like Tokopedia going forward. I love the Indonesian e-commerce space. That's a huge growing emerging market. But ultimately, Tokopedia also said that they're exploring a IPO, which means that this could not turn into the SPAC deal. So be careful with this premium here. As if Tokopedia officially files for their IPO or says this deal is dead, we could see a sell-off in BTWN as investors move on to the next rumor. Next up, we have LOAC. So this is longevity acquisition. So shares were up double digits today. This company is acquiring 4D Pharma, which is partially owned by Merck. And they also have a deal in place with the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's disease. We've seen pharma SPACs continue to fly higher. This one has a low float. Shares were halted earlier today. So as you see that chart there, that thing skyrocketed. It did halt. It is now unhalted, but be careful with those increased levels. But again, these pharma SPACs continue to fly, and that great partnership that they have with Merck and the Michael J. Fox Foundation, may set them up for future success. Next, we have Fuse, F-U-S-E. So this SPAC is now being linked to BlockFi as a merger rumor. So shares have started to trade higher. Again, nothing concrete. This is just a rumor. But BlockFi has said, kind of exploring the SPAC route. And this is one of the names that is being tossed out. Next up, I want to talk about THCA. So this one, the rumor is Transfix. So Transfix is a logistics play for trucking. So if this is true, I think shares could move much higher. And also pointed out on Twitter, I did see over the holiday break that Transfix was profiled on Mad Money back in 2019 as a private company helping with that trucking shortage. So this could be a SPAC that Kramer may love in the future if they get that deal. And, he loves profiling SPACs on the show lately. So if this deal goes through and it is transfixed, look for THCA to get some love on Mad Money, which we have seen in the past provides that Kramer bump. Next up, we have Leap, LEAP. So with the price of Bitcoin, continuing to go up, it might be time to turn to some crypto SPACs. So Leap is trading at a premium, but it could be one of the winners here. That management team, Ribbit Capital, also linked to some other cryptocurrency companies. This is one I like in that space, with that management experience. We're going to see crypto, related companies continue to be hot. And I think, we saw some cannabis SPACs last year. We saw electric vehicle SPACs, probably the hottest thing. I think maybe we start to see some more crypto SPACs going forward in 2021. And I think this could be one of the ones to kick off the new year. And then a couple of votes today. So we have RMG and LOAK. So RMG merging with Romeo Power. So again, if you guys have tuned into the show for a while, we had Romeo Power CEO Lionel Selwood Jr. on our show. This is a battery SPAC. Battery related SPACs continue to fly. Shares are up quite large since we did have Mr. Selwood on the show. We really liked his commentary that he provided on some of those deals that they have in place, partially owned by Republic Services, a trash company. And we did see last week that, Republic and Nikola, canceled that deal. So now that one's kind of up in the air, and Romeo here, is a player that could, help whoever lands that next contract. So that's one worth watching. And then LOAK, so this is Live Oak merging with Danimer Scientific. So this one we haven't talked about a lot. This is a play on plastics and sustainability. It didn't get a lot of attention in the early going, but it has been running in December. There was an article in the New York Post published yesterday that shows they have partnerships with major companies and future deal possibilities. They're linked to Nestle and Pepsi. So again, as a lot of these consumer companies, try to get better plastic packaging for the environment, Danimer Scientific is one of the companies that could help do that. So this is one worth watching as that deal, goes through. So yeah, and that's it for headlines, Mitch.
All right, so you could definitely see there's a lot moving out there, guys. And like always, guys, definitely let everyone know this is the place to go ahead and get your headlines, get your coverage. And we're not talking about just, once a week coverage. We're talking about every single day, guys. So definitely smash the like below if you're getting some value out of this. And let's go ahead and let's get into some of these kind of newer SPACs. One of the things that we're definitely seeing is that we're getting more and more SPACs to come out every single day. And a lot of people are going to have trouble keeping up with all this. And that's what we're here for, guys. We're going to keep doing the research for you guys and going through all these SPACs. I know there's like so many, but we're going to go through 11 of them right now so that you guys, pull out the notebooks. Let's get ready. I want to definitely say hi to some of the people in the chat before we get into this. So definitely some of the OGs like Zoltan. We got Jeannie in the house, RG, Options, Hamlet, Joel. We got Tony, Dan. What's going on, AW, Zippy Doe? What's going on out there, guys? If you guys are new to the show, say hello. This is what the show's all about. It's about you guys out there. So say hello in the chat. Let's go ahead and let's get into this. Let's get into some of the new ones, Let's unlock this world. All right, but before we get into that unlocking, I know that Chris has some calendar watch dates, so get that notebook out. Let's go ahead and let's start going through some of these calendar dates, and then we'll get into these SPACs to watch.
Yeah, so those 2 votes today, and then also tomorrow we have LCA and DMYT, so both in that sports betting space, have their merger vote dates tomorrow. LCA, remember, did not get enough positive votes in that last deal, so they will be looking to complete that merger. With 2 sports betting companies both having their dates on the same day, we could see all the related sports betting names, kind of trade higher. So keep an eye on DraftKings, GAN, MGM, Win, attend some of those as well. And then in January, we have vote date set for IPOC on January 6th and GHIV with United Wholesale Mortgage on January 20th. So that's what I've got on the calendar right now.
Yeah, one of these that I'll be watching for, there's a couple of these, of course, RMG that's been on our show. I had a great time interviewing Lionel, and then IPLC's really been rocketing. So definitely keep an eye on that one. I'm wondering how far this one's going to go. At the end of the day, what I've seen in the SPAC industry is that essentially healthcare and like technology SPACs have been the best SPACs. So definitely I'm going to keep an eye out on these. Let's go ahead and let's get into some of those new SPACs to watch. I am seeing the chat buzzing, guys, so definitely smash that like. Let's keep going here. Chris, what do you got for us?
Yeah, what a busy week. Again, we keep talking about the large number of SPACs filing to go public. 2021 is going to have a large number of new SPACs. So last week there were over 40 new SPACs that filed. So I dug into all those filings, and it was hard to narrow it down. But I have 11 names today. Some that have history, and then some that have good management team. That I want to talk about today. So go ahead and jot these tickers down. Again, these do not trade yet. They have filed, and new units will be issued within the next month or so. And then those common shares will be issued 52 days on average from the filing date. So units will come first, and then those common shares. So up first, I have SVFA. So this was a rather large SPAC. This is a $525 million deal and includes a quarter of a warrant. This is from SoftBank. SoftBank, one of the largest, tech companies, investments in, WeWork, Sprint, and others, especially in Asia. They're going to target the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. So SoftBank has several large tech investments, but they have seen, some failures like that investment in WeWork, which has been criticized. So I'll be curious to see kind of what they do here to possibly redeem themselves. Obviously, they'll look at anyone, but they also have investments in several companies, and they could look to maybe, take one of those public as well. Up next, we have PACX. So this is Pioneer Merger. This is a $350 million offering that includes a third of a warrant. So this is from Falcon Edge Capital and Patriot Global Management. So Falcon Edge Capital investments include SpaceX, Ant Financial, Alibaba, Uber, and Lyft. And then Jonathan Cristodaro partnered to form Patriot. Before that, he was the managing director at Icon Capital from 2012 to 2017. He also worked at Morgan Stanley prior to that. He currently serves on the board of directors at PayPal, Herbalife, Xerox, Sandridge, and was also prior on the board of directors at eBay. We also have director Mitchell Kaplan, who was the CEO of E-Trade from 2000 to 2008, where he oversaw 15 acquisitions. We also have director Todd Davis, the co-founder.
Did you say Mitchell?
I did say Mitchell. That's a good sign, right?
That's a good sign. I'm going to have to look this one up.
And then we have Todd Davis, the co-founder and CEO of LifeLock, where he served in that role from 2005 to 2016. This SPAC is targeting the technology and consumer space. So great management team there. Next up, we have PAQ. So this is Provident Acquisition Corp. $200 million deal, includes a half of a warrant, focus on consumption-focused companies in Asia. So the team behind this SPAC has investments in Gojek, which is Indonesia's largest unicorn, valued at $10 billion. Also investments in GoPay, an e-wallet company, Traveloka, a Southeast Asian online travel company, and JD.ID, a joint venture with JD.com in Indonesia. So again, we talked the top of the show about BTWN being linked to an Indonesian e-commerce company. Here you have a new SPAC, PAQ, that has investments in some of the largest companies in Indonesia. So make sure this one is on your watch list for that Southeast Asian, exposure. Next up, we have AEAC, so this is Authentic Equity Acquisition Corp. $200 million deal includes a half of a warrant with those units, targeting North American consumer companies. They have a very established team. They're looking for profitable brands with an omni-channel or the opportunity for that. So strong management history with consumer brands. They're looking for a company with number 1 or number 2 market share to acquire in this deal. Next up, we have ENVI. So this is Environmental Impact Acquisition. This is a smaller one, $150 million deal. Includes half a warrant, targeting sustainability. But the key here is this one of the directors is David L. Patrick. So he founded the Together Fund in May 2020 to support Democrats in the U.S. House and Senate swing districts. Before that, he was the governor of Massachusetts from 2007 to 2015. And he also worked as general counsel for Coca-Cola from 2001 to 2005. So again, sustainability is the target. He has experience, with Democrats. This is one I'd like forward. It could be a big Biden play going forward. We're probably going to see that ESG sector, be real hot going forward. So that's what I like there as well. Next up, we have SWET. So this is Athlon Acquisition, a $200 million SPAC deal, includes a half of a warrant targeting health, wellness, or fitness. Mark Wan is the co-founder of Three Arch Partners. He co-owns the Boston Celtics, San Francisco 49ers, and Leeds United, and also the esports team, Team Liquid. So targeting health, wellness, and fitness, but he has that big experience with sports companies. He's brought on a couple people from the 49ers training staff to help with the target here. This is one I like in that sports space. Up next, we have HCIC. So this is Hennessy Capital Investment Corp 5 with a $250 million SPAC, a third of a warrant. So this team has done 4 mergers since 2015, including the recent Canoe that was HCAC, now GOEV, targeting sustainable industrial tech and infrastructure. Other deals also include Bluebird and Deseki. So Hennessy Capital got a lot of love with that Canoe deal, so I'll be curious to see what happens with this one. Up next, we have NGAB. This is Northern Genesis Acquisition 2, $300 million SPAC with a third of a warrant, targeting sustainability. Again, their last SPAC was NGA, a SPAC I own, which is taking Lion Electric public, which is electric vans and buses. So this is one that's got that experience, finding a great company. So definitely worth putting on your watch list. Up next, we have ENFA. This is 890 Fifth Avenue Partners, targeting tech, media, and telecom. $250 million deal with a half of a warrant. The team has experience, across the board in media with Fox, News Corp, Central European Media, Time Warner, NBC, A&E. The big key here is the advisor is John Koshner. He has 40 plus years in the sports media industry. He led ESPN Digital Media from 2003 to 2017. Before that, he worked for Sports Illustrated, the NBA, CBS, and NBC. In their filing, they said the target could include over-the-top sports wagering or esports. And if you didn't catch it, the name of this company, 890 Fifth Avenue Partners, is in reference to the fictional home of the Avengers, which is a pretty cool name for a SPAC, in my opinion. And then up next, we have the 2 big ones. These are probably the biggest ones from the last week that everyone will be talking about. So we have GMII. So this is Gore's Metropolis 2, a $400 million SPAC with a fifth of a warrant. This is one from the team of Alec Gores and Dean Metropolis. They have 65 years experience, over 180 companies invested in. Along the Gores and Metropolis pipelines for SPACs, we've seen Hostess, Vera Mobility, Platinum Equity, Luminar, which now trades as LAZR, a LiDAR company, and United Wholesale Mortgage, symbol GHIV, all as completed SPAC deals or targets. And then we also have Gores Holdings 5 and Gores Holdings 6 currently outstanding. This team has a proven track record. We've covered a couple of these names. I know Kevin O'Leary's also a fan of the Gores team. He told Benzinga at our small cap conference. So this is one with experience, probably going to get a lot of attention and trade at a premium. And then up next, so the biggest deal of last week, this is going to be the one that everyone talks about. This is one I'm pretty excited about. So this is symbol SPNG. This is Spinning Eagle. So the SPAC is seeking to sell 150 million units, so to raise $1.5 billion. Each unit's going to include 1/5 of a warrant to buy a common share. Underwriters also the option for 22.5 million more units, which I see definitely going through due to demand. This team is led by Harry Sloan, Eli Baker, and Jeff Sagansky. Sloan is the former CEO of MGM. And then, so this team, so the duo of Sloan and Sagansky have been partners on many SPACs over the year. Baker has been involved on many of the most recent ones. So Flying Eagle Acquisition, their last one raised $690 million, which included 1/3 of a warrant. That company merged with Skills, valuing the mobile gaming company at $3.5 billion. And then before that, we had Diamond Eagle Acquisition, which raised $400 million in April 2019, also included 1/3 of a warrant. Diamond Eagle Acquisition merged with DraftKings in a deal that valued the sports betting company at $2.7 billion. The company also did deals that included Target Logistics, William Scotsman, Global Eagle Entertainment, and Videocon. So DraftKings has been one of the best performing SPACs of the year. Shares are up over 400%. And then we also have seen Skills. So those shares are up over 90% from their offering price. They've traded as high as $22.73 this year. So this new SPAC is targeting a company that can benefit from that management team. They have not singled out a sector or geographical area, but they do mention the management team's experience in media and entertainment. They want to find something in a high growth industry and that already has revenue or earnings growth and the possibility of free cash flow generation. If they don't find a target company, they also have plans that could form a separate blank check company referred to as SpinCo, which could take them past that 2-year deadline. So, given the team's experience with SPACs, that recent success with DraftKings and Skills, this is going to be a highly anticipated SPAC offering. Again, symbol SPNG. I see this one probably trading at a premium from the start, but I think it's one, where you could park some cash into those units, wait for a deal to go through, and, with that management team having success with those recent ones, this is one I like going forward. That Eagle team behind these SPACs has been great. DraftKings and Skills, I think, are two high growth companies, going forward in hot markets. So, that's definitely the highlight of last week. And with them raising $1.5 billion, that also is one of the larger SPAC deals done in recent history. So that is one that I really like going forward. And that's it for those 11 new SPACs to watch that were filed last week.
All right, all right, all right. How we doing, guys? I know you guys got the list down. I was here writing down some myself, getting ready to really just do the research, guys. That's what we're here for, guys, is to give you guys the information so that you guys can make informed trades. So always let your friends know about the best SPAC show in the world. Really, at the end of the day, we're the only ones doing this everyday coverage, bringing you the experts, bringing you the executive interviews, and we'll continue doing so. So definitely smash the like, guys, and this is the best time of the day. This is the time that everybody loves, guys. It's time to start doing ticker time, guys. So if you're new to the chat, and you want to go ahead and get its SPAC covered, go ahead and put it in the chat here. Let's go ahead and do some ticker time. So put your tickers in the chat, guys. Let's go ahead and just get into it. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and let's see what's going on out there. I know we're seeing a lot on our watch list. I'll just first pull this up here. We've been seeing a couple of them up above 15% here, LOAC and LOAK here. So let's just go into LOAK here right quick. Let's take a look at this chart as we're seeing this rip up. Everyone keep putting their tickers in the chat as we go ahead and look at this one. You've really been seeing this one rip. It ripped up here towards the 2850. Kind of has this kind of downward trending line now. I want to see if it's going to hold this 25 if it comes back towards that level, but we'll definitely keep this one on watch. I'm seeing the chat buzzing, over 60 messages in the last kind of minute or so. So put it in the chat, guys. If you want to see a ticker, put it in there. All right. So let's go ahead and let's start getting through some of these, Chris. So let's go ahead and let's start with XL. From Genie. This is a person that definitely is a loyal viewer, and that's what we look for here is XL. So XL Fleet. This is one that we talked about early. Before it made a giant move up. And what do you want to say about this one, Chris?
Yeah, so we saw that huge move last week. This one got a lot of chatter in some of the different SPAC groups, some Discord channels. It got coverage on CNBC. I have been a shareholder of PIC since, below 12. I sold part of my position, in those $30 levels. I do still own some going forward, playing with the house's money here. I do think this is a great story with the electrification for fleets, but I would be careful, chasing this one, with those big run-ups that we have seen.
All right. So I have another one here, one that we mentioned really early as it started, and it was one that, today I kind of wake up kicking myself a little bit. NPA here, NPA brought by JD. JD, thank you for putting it in the chat. If you're new to the chat, guys, say hello, put a ticker in there. We'll bring you into it. All right, so NPA, take a look at this. This is interesting. We started ripping on this one. You could see this kind of gap up there today. I think it opened at 1507 here. And we got a high of 1599. So it went up there closer toward that 16. We brought this one early. So what do you want to mention about this one, Chris?
Yeah, so NPA, I love the long-term story here. This is that 5G space play. Investments from Vodafone, deals with AT&T. I like their long-term story, the growth plan, but I think they're a couple years out. So I wonder if this one can keep the momentum going. It is getting a lot of attention on Twitter and elsewhere. So again, I love the long-term story, but it is a couple years away, from that growth really playing out.
All right, guys. So definitely seeing a big move in this one. I'm going to mention this one with my man, the young investor, checking us out, guys. Definitely hit the like below. Check his channel out, guys. If you guys haven't seen his channel, I think it's pretty interesting. He definitely gives some great insights, so definitely check it out. But LOAC, I'll go ahead and I'll do it for you, young investor. Let's go ahead and check it out. Let's see the 5-minute chart, since this is a little bit of a quick mover today. So you got that rip up there towards the 19 area. Let's go ahead and pull this full screen here. So with that rip up to the 1950 and a pull back towards the support, let's see if it can hold this support and get back above it. So what I call the undercut and rally. So what we need to see here in this area is we want to see a big volume bar step up here, kind of like what you got here. So you want to see that big volume bar step up there, showing that some buyers are stepping up at support, and then see this get right back above here. That's what I'll be looking for, to see if we can get back above that 1350 here and then into the 14s. So until it gets above that 14, I wouldn't really be bullish on this chart, but I want to see if we can get that volume down here towards support. And if there's anything you want to talk about LOAC here, Chris.
Yeah, I talked at the top of the hour. So yeah, Merck is an investor in the company. They have a couple trials in place with them. They announced recently that deal, the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's. It's also linked to some COVID-19 treatments. Again, super low float on these shares. So we saw, them shoot higher today, and they were halted. So be careful with this one, but it's a nice looking pharma one going forward with those deals in place.
All right, let's go ahead and let's keep it going from the chat here. Got a couple of other ones that I'm seeing out here. So this is one that I've been interested in and kind of starting to pay attention to. This is RPLA here, guys, from Bubba. Bubba the Stinky. Let's go. Let's do it. All right, so RPLA. What do you want to talk about this one, Chris?
Let's see. RPLA, I'm trying to remember here.
That replay.
Finance. Yep, Finance of America. So we had the CEO on. So again, this one's related to, mortgages, possibly student loans, some other areas. This one traded flat at 10 for a long time. Comparisons to Rocket when Patty Cook was on our show. And then also we're seeing that United wholesale mortgage deal go through possibly in January. This is a good one going forward. They have like 5 different lines of business, targeting some different growth areas. So they're like Rocket and United Wholesale, but they're also different as they're more diversified. So this is one I like going forward. I'm surprised it hasn't traded, up past 11 and sustained that level. So, I'd like to see it, really show that before this deal goes through. But yeah, this is one I like long term here.
All right, let's go ahead and let's get into one that everyone's talking about right now, and that's of course Maximilian here with the LCA. What a name! I love it. So LCA. So what's going on with that vote?
So that vote tomorrow, I think it goes through because they did restructure the deal based on Class A and Class B shares. So with the management team voting yes on the deal, it's most likely going to go through. I think it will shoot higher on approval of the deal. Again, this has not been my favorite one in the sports betting space because it's really more aligned in the iGaming, has a lot of competition. Also, it's being taken public by Fertitta, with his own SPAC. Which I've never been as big of a fan of the, just straight bringing your own company public via a SPAC. So I'll be curious to see if it can sustain those levels. Again, we saw it sell off quite a bit when that vote, didn't go through. So tomorrow I would expect it to spike a little bit with the approval, but the question is, can it sustain it? And also, I like DMYT better, going forward. Rush Street Interactive, they're #1 in sports betting in Illinois. They also have a huge iGaming business. We had the CEO on of DMY Technology on our show. And I really like what he said about, the growth prospects for the company and their low valuation compared to their peers. I think you brought that up, Mitch. DMYT, trading at a much lower valuation compared to LCA and DraftKings and others. So, that would be the one that I would look at, tomorrow instead.
Yeah, I think both of them have that kind of extended look to me, at least in my eyes. This is the chart of DMYT up there towards the 25, starting to get heavy there at 25. And then let's go back right here. So let's go ahead and let's go back to the LCA chart here. And so one of the things that I'm going to be paying attention to on this LCA chart is a lot of times for me, I'm actually going to, and it's how it is, guys. I'm going to be on the opposite side here of Chris. Chris is thinking maybe it can come up a little bit with the merger. I think we're topping out here. I think maybe you wake up tomorrow and it's at 28. But I think that's just because of the vote. And then, I'm going to be looking for a pullback in this one. I actually don't mind this one, but at the right price. Like always, it's not just always just buy any SPAC and then make money. I can tell you that right now, guys. It's not just anyone. You have to always know your levels and respect your levels. So one of the things that I'd be looking for is a pullback closer towards this 18. You see how we struggled here multiple times here to get above this 18. Let's see if we can get a big pullback, kind of come back towards that level after the merger, when we get some kind of investors to find where the valuation is really going to meet. So that's kind of what I'll be looking
Mitch,
for.
Can you pull up the 1-day chart there on LCA?
Let's do
I
it.
don't know if you looked at that. So it was like $28 in pre-market
Oh,
trading, and then look at how it started to come down, and it can't even sustain that $27 level. I really expected this one to kind of rip going into tomorrow's vote, but if it's already starting to sell off today, I don't know what could happen tomorrow. So yeah, be careful with this one, guys.
hey, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I did not see this chart this morning, so you're lightening up my eyes, and literally what I just called out. That
Yep.
28 turnaround. To me, that's the turnaround. And in personal, this is my personal opinion. Like always, guys, always do your own investment decisions. And what we're trying to do is just based off our opinion here. And so I think this one's turning around there off that 28. I don't think you'll see it up there at 28 for a little while. That's just my personal opinion. Let's go ahead and let's keep going with ticker time. Let's do this. All right, so let's go ahead and see what other stocks we have over here. Seeing GHIV, I know that's one that we talked about common. Let's go to this one, FAII from Chase and also from Cohen. So let's go into that one, FAII. What do you know about this one, Chris?
So FAII, Fortress Value, don't think they've announced a deal yet, but they have been linked to several of the larger names. So this is one, yeah, I would think about, stocking aside as they're going to probably land a decent name, given that track record and their management team. It's starting to get up there to the $11 level. And sustain that and trade at a premium. But again, guys, we've seen these SPACs now no longer, trade around that $10 floor. A lot of them are starting to trade, around $11 as a floor with that built-in premium. So, it could be a good time to get this one before it jumps and continues to trade at that $11 premium.
All right, guys, trying to find this one comment again here. Let's see. If not, I'll just go to the next one here. So let's go ahead and let's go to VGAC here as I try to find that other one here. So VGAC, what do you want to talk about this one, Chris?
Yeah, so VGAC from Virgin Group, this one, again, has been linked to several of the larger SPAC rumors. I really like the management team here. This is one we highlighted on the show when it was still trading around $10, and now we're seeing it, over 12 with that built-in premium. Again, people are willing to pay those premiums for these strong management teams or anytime there's like a rumor attached. So this one's been linked to some electric vehicle names. It's been linked to, some of those larger fintech plays. Again, this is one I really like going forward. I think they land a good growing company. But again, you are paying that built-in premium on this one now.
All right, guys. So one of the ones that I want to bring into the chat is one of the ones that I've been watching out for, and this is SPNV. Just trying to find where it was in the chat. There's so many tickers. You guys are taking over. My man Carl here, guys. So SPNV. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. What do you know about this one, Chris?
Yeah, so this one, I actually wrote an article about this one back in September. This SPAC is from the founders of Zillow and Hotwire. I really like that management team. I'm surprised it's not getting more attention, but it is starting to trade, over 11 and sustain that level. I love the management team here, and, I like this one.
Yeah, all I can say is I'm kicking myself, man. I was talking about this one last week. This is one that I did my research on, guys, and I like the board. I can personally tell you that this would be. You guys won't hear from me too often that I am like big on one of these. This is one that I'm big on. So the biggest thing is as close as to 10 as possible. Like always, guys, what I always recommend is if you can get as close to 10. Then you give yourself a shot. But definitely, I'm going to keep this one on watch. Thank you for putting it in the chat, Carl. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and let's keep going here. One of the things that we do here, guys, is really, it's all about you guys. And that's why we're going through this time in the ticker time and going through the information of the different SPACs that you guys want to see. So if this is somebody you guys want us to cover, someone you guys want us to reach out, maybe it's a CEO interview that you guys want done, definitely put it in the comments after the show and we'll go ahead and reach out. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into another one here. I'm seeing a couple more here. So let's go with the BFT. This is one that we talked about, for a while. Like I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago that we really mentioned it. So what's going on with BFT here?
Yeah, so BFT, PaySafe is the target here. This one continues to just shoot higher. I've been a big fan of this one since it was announced. So if the question is it too late? I personally do not believe so. Again, remember to do your own due diligence. I like PaySafe going forward. It's big in the gaming market, the iGaming. It's the thing behind the thing, powering transactions for Roblox, Fortnite, sports betting companies. And again, we've seen Square, PayPal, these fintech companies trade, much higher this year. And this is one I like going forward long term.
If you take a look at this chart, you had that time when it was just going sideways above 10. Things that I like to see, guys. Whenever I see that sideways action for a couple days above 10, it seems to me that, if you get any volume to really step in near the resistance, which was that 10.98 $11 price point here, then you got that breakout. And that's what happened there. Then so from that breakout, it's always looking for supports, and that's how you can start measuring your attempts to try to get into something like this. So to me, a stock up there at a 17, I'd be looking for a pullback down closer towards this 14, and that could give you an attempt entry. So the same thing, it moved here, it came back to support, broke out again. I'll look for another support touch and see if it can continue the pattern. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and let's see if there's anything else in the chat that we're going to talk about today. Like everyone, start talking to your friends about the SPAC industry, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be that person that's late to the show. I know I was late to like kind of the Bitcoin phase back in the day, and I still was able to make some gains. But one of the things that we try to do here at Benzinga is be early innovators, and by being early innovators, we give you guys the information that you guys need to understand the trades and make informed trades, and that's really what we're here for, guys. So let's go ahead. Let's touch one more from the chat here. I'm seeing. All right. I'm seeing a little spam here, but let's give my guy a shout out here. So I'm seeing CCIV here, R2D2 letting us know CCIV here. So what's going on with CCIV, Chris?
Yeah, so CCIV, again, they haven't announced a deal. They've been linked to DirecTV. So this one's trading, at 10.09 right now, right around that $10 floor. Churchill Capital, so Michael Klein SPACs. So he has a track record, but he's also had a couple SPACs that are under that $10 mark, like Multiplan. This is one of the largest SPACs out there. They're going to land a big company. When we had the person behind the new SPAC ETF on the show last week, symbol SPCX is that ETF. This is the largest holding in that ETF. Personally, I'm not a huge fan if they do get the DirecTV stake, because we've seen that business kind of die. AT&T is going to sell it at a discount of what they paid for it. But again, maybe they can turn it around or bring new life to it that AT&T couldn't, trapped with all those other media assets. But, I'd really like to see them land something else here. But again, huge SPAC, big target, trading at 10.09 in a market right now that is trading SPACs at premiums. I'd be tempted to take a hit right there at 10.09, and get this one, because that's a good floor to have with that $10 to $10.09 level.
Yeah, one thing that I'll say is if they're targeting that DirecTV, I'll keep an eye on it. It's not really the one that I like. I've been looking for targets. Actually, it's one that I'll mention, guys. I've been looking to see if Dish wants to get kind of a buyout of Sling. One thing I'm starting to notice, and you hear about it from AT&T, is that they're trying to separate kind of those satellite TV things and T-Mobile is trying to get off of DirecTV. One of the things I noticed is Dish has been taking a hit lately. They have Sling, which is similar to Fubo, and that's why I'm really bringing it up here. So I'm going to keep an eye out on this one. You never know. You never know what could happen there. Maybe they say, okay, maybe DirecTV is not the one, but maybe we can get Dish. Or maybe we can get Fubo. So those are ones that I've been talking about. They could be acquired, and so I'll mention Fubo here. I know a lot of people mentioning it in the chat, so let's go ahead and take a look here at the chart. One of the things that you saw here was a rip out from that $11. That's really where we first mentioned this one on pre-market prep, was at this $11 price point. And why? Because it came to the market. It wasn't a brand new IPO, came from the OTCs, but it came to the market at the right timing. And we always talk about how story is everything, and this one got the story. And once it got the story to really start pumping, it got Catalyst, and Catalyst make it drive. It got the Balto Sports is really what created this drive, guys. This first drive was kind of more of the streaming help and kind of the traffic that the Fubo was seeing. And I think that this last drive was really kind of more of that investors taking a liking in their investment approach in Balto Sports. So that's essentially saying that Fubo and streaming services are taking kind of this move going into the sports gambling. Why not match the content with the gambling itself, or give you opportunities to kind of play games that might not even be valued of money, but can at least bring some features into the sports only kind of streaming here. So anything you'd like to add to this, Chris?
I will say I was a customer of Sling for a couple of years. Very similar space there. With the over the top, cutting the cord. Now I actually have Fubo. Love it with that sports coverage. They also have CNBC and some of the news channels on there, which I like watching CNBC. I think that's an attractive market. There is going to be lots of competition, with these over the top names. But yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on with CCIV there.
All right. So I'll take a look here. I know my man Joel is going crazy about this one in the chat. So he wanted to talk about FMAC here. So before we get out of here, let's go ahead and take a look really quickly at this chart. And you're seeing it start to push up there through the $10 price point, now up there to the 1150s, 1140s, and then it turned back around, guys. So look for these 10. I would look for these 1070s to kind of hold, maybe down towards this 1060 area. And if we can get some volume back, I'll definitely keep this one on the watch. Like always, guys, definitely let everyone know where you guys see the SPAC show, where you guys get the best SPAC information. Hit the like below. Chris will keep working hard for you guys. We got some special shows this week, guys, so I definitely want to preface those. Chris, what's coming on this week? What do we got to look forward to?
Yeah, so this week, we're going to take a look back, obviously, with the year ending. We're going to look back at what were the hottest SPACs of the year, which may include some of those names like Nikola and HYLN that ripped higher and have come down. But we'll take a look, which ones traded the highest, which ones are trading the highest now, and then kind of what happens to those ones going forward into the new year. Then we're also going to take a hard look at SPACs trading between $10 and $11. Again, we're seeing a lot of these SPACs trade at premiums, so it might be time to look for some lower risk ones trading between 10 and 11 with some good management teams. And then we'll also be taking a look at some of our favorite SPACs for 2021. And that could include former SPACs, SPACs that already have targets, or those SPACs that don't have announced deals but have great management teams. So I'm really looking forward, to kind of bringing you some of these opinion shows. Again, this is all opinions. We're just bringing you the news and our thoughts. Make sure you do your own due diligence. And Mitch, I will add, since the last one you brought up was FMAC. I had forgotten about this one. I wrote about that one in September as well. So the DraftKings founder, Jason Robbins, is actually behind this SPAC. And that first marked the company with this. They backed companies like Shopify, Pinterest, Discord, Airbnb, and Riot Games. So pretty strong history there. And with Jason Robbins from DraftKings, serving on the board and having experience getting a SPAC deal done, that may be one I take a good look at here. And that definitely will be on our show with the 10 to 11, assuming it doesn't start to trade at that premium. But thanks for bringing that one up. I had forgotten about that one myself. So FMAC, guys, yeah, that's one worth looking at. I think you're muted there, Mitch.
The old mute trick. All right, so like always, guys, definitely stay tuned this week. We got some great shows. I'm super excited about these kind of special shows that we're doing, and stay tuned, guys. I'm looking forward towards 2021. We're gonna do some special stuff for SPACs, and Chris and I have been working stuff in the background. So definitely stay with us, guys. Hit the subscribe and the bell below so that you can be notified as soon as we go live. And we'll see you next time, guys, on the SPACs Attack, baby.